What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and get ready. We're hearing that President Joe Biden has flipped yet again. There's a whole lot of flipping going on in Congress, and this is only going to be intensifying. A recession that we're hearing is on the horizon, and food, gas, oil prices, they're only going to be going higher. And if you think that gas prices are high now, wait till you see the video footage that I've got, as they're going to be saying how long and just how high they're going to be going. And we're going to be seeing if Congress responds with some form of stimulus. As we're hearing, they're not going to be able to pull those prices down. And we're likely going to need maybe gas stimulus checks, federal level fourth checks, something to help out. And also, they're going to want to do it before these midterm elections. This is your breaking news stimulus check update and stimulus package update. Now, let's take a look at some of these headlines coming out. Why U.S. gas prices are at a record and why they'll stay high for a very long time. U.S. gas prices continue to rise to record highs. Expect a cruel summer ahead. And they're saying there's going to be demand destruction from prices being so high where people simply say, I'm just not going to drive anywhere because I cannot afford the price of gas. And look at this. High gas prices complicate Democrats' hopes of picking up U.S. House seats in California, as even in Democratic states, they are concerned right now because Americans are fed up with this economy and high prices. They're saying they're expecting a Republican red wave to come in the elections, and we're going to see Republicans take over Congress as Americans are saying we're done with Biden and Democrats and the way our economy is unfolding. Now, we will see. Let me know your thoughts. We're hearing that if Democrats want to hold on to power, they have got to do something, and they've got to do it soon. Now, also, as I mentioned, President Biden has flipped on his stances, and a major announcement coming out, which is likely going to be indication that we are going to have high prices for quite some time, and a very fine line we're walking here. Take a look at this headline. Biden agrees to provide Ukraine with long-range missiles. Now, we had heard the president say that we were staying out of the war, we're not going to be intensifying things, and we had heard from Russia that if anybody contributes to Ukraine attacking Russia, that is a declaration of war, and they would start a war with them. Well, the United States has come out with this announcement. I'm going to share with you the video footage, and they're saying that this is specifically for Ukraine's defense. This is not to attack Russia. However, we're hearing that if these missiles are used to attack Russia, that would be a declaration of war in Russia's opinion. Now, we will see, because that would spark a world war, as the U.S. would get pulled in and so would NATO, and things would just fall apart from there. Now, also, this is, as we mentioned, an indication that Russia and Ukraine, things are not slowing down, they're intensifying. This war is going to be exasperating, even more so. Our inflation, high oil and gas and food prices, so they're saying buckle up. The U.S. economy, the prices are going to be high for quite some time. So you guys, let's dive into what's happening right now. And all of that is on a federal level. We're going to be seeing how Congress responds. But also here, I'm keeping you up to date on state, county, and city levels, as we're hearing that we're having new packages and new checks passed almost every other day now. Now, I'm trying to keep you up to date. If you missed my last video yesterday, check it out right after this one as I give you the latest coming out. And we're hearing that about 90% of the people that are eligible for these benefits are completely missing out simply because they don't know they exist. Well, I want to make sure that you are in the know and you don't miss out on anything. So be sure to check out these videos and let's raise awareness so people know and they don't miss out on these benefits. Also, consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. More content coming on the real estate market and how our economy and a potential recession might impact things, and how the Federal Reserve, we're hearing, is likely going to be responding. Now, my perspective on this is a little bit different from what we're hearing from the masses, but I just want to share with you, and nobody's got a crystal ball, just give you an opinion and give you some data so that way you can make your own choices and decisions. But with that being said, you guys, let's dive into the latest coming out, get you caught up on video footage and articles with President Joe Biden, our economy, and more stimulus. Now, before we dive in, though, if you could do me a quick favor, just takes a second. Don't forget, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps me out a ton. Just takes a second. Thank you so much. Also, if you want to stay up to date, totally free. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, come join the Ram fam. I'll let you know everything going on. And if you got any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, let's dive into this video footage and let's start off with gas prices and how they're saying Get ready, they're likely not going to be coming down anytime soon.
President Biden claims tackling inflation is his top priority in a rare White House meeting with Fed Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. The surging cost of everyday goods and gas is forcing Americans to save less as the personal savings rate drops to its lowest in 14 years. Fox business correspondent Jackie DeAngelis joins us now. Jackie, we've got to talk about gas. We've got to talk about the future.
Yeah.
This is pretty stunning. The personal savings rate being this low, as low as it's been in 14 years, because it comes on the heels of the pandemic.
Right, exactly. So people stayed home. They weren't, going out to eat. They weren't buying clothes to go to events or to go to the office, and they saved all this money, right? So we saw personal savings for the first time in a long time start to go up. Now we're starting to see that people have spent through and blown through that money. They have blown through their stimulus checks. And yes, 4.4% in April. That was the lowest personal savings rate in this country since 2008. I will add to that, we're seeing high inflation, 40-year high. We're also seeing debt go up. According to the New York Fed, $860 billion in debt in this country in the first quarter, and 229 million new credit cards added. That says to me people blew through the savings and they're back to using plastic to pay for things.
Wow. So the president says Americans are saving more and they've reduced their debt, and that is, in your estimation,
a lie. It's a lie.
Let's talk about the future, Jackie. Let's talk about gas prices first. I don't know if you haven't answered this question, but I think every American's looking at this. Yes, you feel the pain of the present, and you sit there and you go, but what's the future? If I take a trip this summer, what am I going to be paying in gas?
Well, the future is reflected in the underlying crude oil price, which was $117 a barrel yesterday. So that's what the speculators are looking out into the market. And that's essentially how the retail price is calculated. So at $4.67, we're up just 5 cents from yesterday and hitting new records every day. And this is how I look at it, covering this industry for years. 4th of July is 5 weeks away. That's a long time, and that's usually the peak of the season. So 5 more weeks of increases. Gas Buddy says we're going to hit $5 for the national average by mid-June.
$5 by mid-June. So by the time you get to 4th of July, what? $5.50, $6?
We could be well over that. And, there are bank estimates that indicate by the time we get to Labor Day, $6.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, and then finally, the general state of the economy, as we've talked about, the Fed is charged with controlling inflation. Really, the main quiver they have is to raise interest rates.
Right.
Okay, so we're either looking at increased cost of money for everyone out there at home paying their mortgage rate, their credit card debt, as you talked about, or this inflationary spiral.
Right. And so essentially, no matter how you slice it, unfortunately, the news is that I think we will be headed into some sort of recession if we're not there already. So if the Fed raises rates and tries to whack down inflation, all of a sudden that will have an impact. And Jerome Powell knows that, right? If inflation stays this high and the consumer pulls back and stops spending and only is putting essentials on credit cards, for example, remember that the consumer is 2/3 of the U.S. economy. When it pulls back, recession follows.
Jackie, I think sometimes we pay too much attention to politics. This is actually what's affecting America. But here's what's going to happen. I have to think. These are political killers. Yeah. A recession is a political killer. So the regime in office will look at that and they will try desperately to avoid inflation, a recession, all of it. Which I don't know how that adds up, Jackie. I don't know where you turn or how they distract or what they pull in our focus toward. But this right here is the story.
Well, abortion has been a distraction, for example, but this is the story, and this is the kitchen table story. We live in a very blue state and a very blue city. Uber driver this morning drops me off here and says, I sure wish President Trump was back in office. The policies were not half bad compared to what we're dealing with now. People are feeling it.
Jackie, thank you so much for the context. Don't love to hear it, but I need to hear the future.
It's the reality.
Thank you, Jackie.
Yeah.
Wow, so there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you agree with the reporter that former President Donald Trump, the way he handled the economy was so much better and you'd rather have it that way? Or do you feel like Democrats and Joe Biden, they're going to pull through for the American people, they're going to get us back on track? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, but we'll see, because right now we're hearing things are just getting more intense for our economy. And now let's take a look at that announcement that I shared with you as President Joe Biden flipped on his stance of not getting too involved, and now he's saying missiles are on their way to Ukraine, but they are strictly for defense. Let's go ahead and take a look.
I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke about advanced missile systems that the U.S. is providing Ukraine with during a Wednesday press conference. The newly provided weapons have a range of around 50 miles and could help Ukrainian forces struggling under Russian Russian artillery fire. The Secretary of State also said Ukraine has promised not to use these weapons to strike targets inside of Russia, as the U.S. walks a tightrope of trying to aid Ukraine defensively without causing the war to escalate. Take a listen to his remarks here.
Taking two from each delegation, we'll start with Vivian Salama of the Wall Street Journal.
Thanks, Ned. Thank you very much. Secretary Blinken, two quick questions, please. With regard to the long-range weapons, what can be done or is being done to minimize escalation with Russia? And do you believe that there's an understanding in Moscow about the nuance that the U.S. is trying to achieve with regard to the weapons that it does choose to send to Ukraine? And unrelated, on President Erdogan's latest threats of force to Syria, are you concerned that Turkey is increasingly becoming a disruptive ally, and how can it be addressed? Shall I ask my question to the Secretary General? Welcome back, sir. Two questions for you as well. Cracks are appearing in the Western Front against Moscow, despite both of you stating that the alliance is very strong, and we're seeing that there is some disagreement over shipping more powerful weapons to Ukraine. How does NATO as an organization work to prevent the cooperation from going south at Ukraine's expense? And more specifically, how does Ukraine win, which seems to be a key point in this disagreement? Thank you.
Thanks. I'm happy to start. Vivian, thanks for the questions. First, in response to the question about escalation, let's start with this. It's Russia that is attacking Ukraine, not the other way around. And simply put, the best way to avoid escalation is for Russia to stop the aggression and the war that it started. It's fully within its power to do so. Specifically with regard to weapon systems being provided, the Ukrainians have given us assurances that they will not use these systems against targets on Russian territory. There is a strong trust bond between Ukraine and the United States, as well as with our allies and partners. I'd also say that throughout this aggression, indeed even before, President Biden was very clear with President Putin about what the United States would do if Russia proceeded with its aggression, including continuing to provide security assistance that Ukraine needs to defend itself against the Russian aggression. There was no hiding the ball. We've been extremely clear about this from day one, with President Biden communicating that directly to President Putin. So we have done exactly what we said we would do. And it is Russia, again, that chose to launch this aggression, despite all of our efforts to prevent that, with intense diplomacy over many months. Again, they started the conflict. They can end it at any time. And we will avoid any concerns about miscalculations or escalation.
So there you have it, you guys, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, as all of this unfolds, I'll be sure to keep you up to date here on the channel and let you know the latest, because all of this is going to be impacting our economy, the elections, stimulus, and I will let you know here on the channel. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second to smash that like button. Helps me out a ton with the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much. Leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you like to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not? Come join the Ram fam. I'll let you know everything going on so you don't miss a thing. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. Any specific questions you got, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3, and consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance, and keep an eye out for a comprehensive list of all state, county, and city stimulus checks available right now, so that way you don't miss out on anything. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.